What's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to the Punk Rock Review. Man, the time has come, dude. This is a video that I've been thinking about since I started doing this channel. We're almost at our 2-year anniversary. I can't think of a better time for this to even be happening right now. We're going to talk about Rancid, of course, right? We're going to talk about And Out Come the Wolves, all right? I think everybody that is a fan of this channel, everybody that participates, everybody that's a punk rocker, everybody that's a music fan, really, has their own And Out Come the Wolves. This is an album that shifted the course of my life. It changed me as a person. I'm not even being funny here. So what we're going to do is we're going to do two things. One, we're going to talk about this album in depth. So buckle up, it's going to be a long video. Two, I'm going to record two versions of this video. I'm actually just going to film one, and then I'm going to edit it down for YouTube. So there's going to be a separate version on Patreon where you get to listen to this with me, every song, all the way through, uninterrupted. If you are interested in that, you can purchase it for $5, or you can just become a Patreon for I think it's $2, $5, or $10 a month if you want. There's other things involved with Patreon. You get input on the channel, but we're about to be doing giveaways every month. I've got some stuff I'm going to be doing. Records, posters, swag, just cool stuff, right? We also have a Patreon exclusive Discord if you're interested in any of that. There's links to it in the description. If not, no worries. There's ways to support the channel, and you don't have to. You can just hang out and watch the videos, man. I appreciate that. I'm really trying to hit 11,000 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed, that would be my personal preference right now. If you would subscribe to the channel, help me get to my goal of 11,000 by the end of April, I would really appreciate that. If not, hey, no worries. Again, if you're here, I appreciate that. So let's start talking about this album a little bit. I wrote a script out, so I'm going to be reading this because this album is important enough for me to not want to slip over my words, not want to miss something that I was thinking, and I'm sure I will miss some stuff that I'm thinking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this. I have a little intro, and then we're going to listen to each song together. And then after the song, I'll read what I wrote down about it. It's like a little about the song thing. And then if I have any notes or things that are stories, relevant information, about the song that relates to me personally, we'll talk about it a little bit. I encourage comments, please, good or bad. People are going to make fun of me for this. Fine, dude. I don't care, man. Be cool. Give me some crap. Whatever, dude. It doesn't matter to me. I have come to the realization that there are cool people on the internet that I'm not cool, and, they just have to let me know. So, by all means, dude. Give me the thumbs down. Tell me I'm a dork. Whatever, man. It is what it is. All right. Rancid and Out Come the Wolves. Came out the summer of 95, so it's about to hit 30 years, which is the reason that I decided to go ahead and do this, is because it was hitting 30 years. And Out Come the Wolves was taken from a poem in Jim Carroll's The Basketball Diaries. That's pretty cool because that movie is one that I think a lot of young outcast types, forgotten types, we all watched that as a young person. Shout out Leonardo DiCaprio for really just making people that are messed up in the head feel like they weren't the only one. I don't know. If you haven't seen that, it's been a while since I've watched it, but I remember it really impacted me quite a bit. How many songs is on this thing? It's 19 or so? Something like that. It's 50 minutes, just about 50 minutes. Let's see. It was 19. Haha! My memory isn't as bad as I thought it might be. So yeah, 19 songs at 50 minutes. Yeah, dude. Okay, so let's just hop right into this conversation. So, with my newfound love of the first two Clash albums, I'm glad I get to spend some time doing a deep dive into this album, as I haven't done that With my newfound love of the first two Clash albums, I'm glad I get to spend some time doing a deep dive into this album, as I haven't really done that to this degree in a very long time. I hear things now that I never heard before, and it amazes me that an album I have literally heard 1,000 times can still impact me to this degree. That I can still find new things to love about it. The album is perfect. more so than I already thought listening to it in high school, then again in my 20s when becoming a man, my late 20s while struggling with addiction, depression, things like that. Still listening to this album into my 30s when I met my wife, became a father, got clean, okay? Then through the loss of our home in a flood, the loss of a business due to COVID, then all the way through this amazing journey I am on right now with my label, my record store, this channel. This album has been there for me through the loss of my father and many friends too. It will continue to console me during every difficult time I have for the rest of my life. This is the album that changed my life. The greatest punk rock record ever written. Rancid and Out Come the Wolves has done so much for my love of punk rock. Not just introducing me to the genre, but even being the reason I discovered bands like Minor Threat, then SST Records, hardcore DIY punk, all because of this one record, dude. It could all be traced back to this one album. It literally changed me. I can tell you the moment that it happened. And I will. I'll get to that in a few minutes. It's about track 4 in here, okay? Something I just wanted to point out before getting into the individual songs is that the actual complete package of this album, it's something I rarely hear about. It's all there. Lyrically, A+. Guitar tone's amazing. The vocal performances, while occasionally impossible to understand, okay? We all understand that. Something I just wanted to point out before getting into the something I also wanted to point out before getting into the individual songs is the actual complete package of this album. It's something that I rarely hear about. It's all there. Lyrically, it's A+. Guitar tone, amazing. Vocal performances, while occasionally impossible to understand, okay? Perfectly fitting for this group of songs. It draws you into the lyric sheet to study what is being said, which I think is important. I just think the entire album is perfectly constructed. The songs are in the right order, the production is just right, the mix is evenly distributed where you can hear everything and nothing is overshadowing. The mix is I just think the album is perfectly constructed. The songs, they're in the right order. The production is just right. The mix is evenly distributed where you can hear everything and nothing is overshadowing anything else. Just play this record on a good stereo at a high volume. Okay, that's important. And you'll be transported to every place they talk about and every part of every scenario described. This record is special, man. It's a special record, man. So let's get started. Let's listen to the album track by track. I will break this album down song by song, and you'll get to hear what every one of them means to me and what I think every one of them is about. We're going to start, obviously, with Maxwell Murder. So the first concert I ever went to was Lollapalooza in 1996. One of the cool things about a festival back then was not every band, not every band on the planet was playing them. So you got to go see a band play a full set. Like you were getting like 45-minute sets for some of the early bands, full hour sets for some of the mid to top level bands. And then like the closers, like the big bands, Metallica, they played for like 2 hours. So it was like a full-fledged concert experience, right? But I was only 14 years old. I got to see the Ramones and I got to see Rancid play. I can't explain to you what that did to my brain, dude. It was. Now, I didn't quite understand the gravity of the Ramones, but I knew I was witnessing something cool. It was in the air. Like I could feel it. They looked cool. It's the Ramones, dude. Come on. I'm very, very glad that I was able to see that. I still got my shirt from that show. It's one of the few things I have, post Hurricane Harvey. And the reason I'm even bringing this up is because I knew that day that Matt Freeman was somebody special, because when we listened to Maxwell Murder, which they obviously played, it was 1996. They were on. It was an Out Come the Wolves tour. It blew my mind, even as a 14-year-old. I didn't know nothing about guitar. I didn't know nothing about playing music. I just knew, oh wow, that's incredible. That is incredible. So without further ado, let's listen to Maxwell Murder. If you're here on YouTube, my apologies. I can't go through the whole song without it being copyright claimed, even though this is I don't know what you'd call this. It's just a big documentation of a record I love. But if you're on Patreon, thank you for supporting. I appreciate it. All right, Maxwell Murder. Let's go.
Calling Maxwell Murder for you.
Okay, so one thing I want to say. Sorry, I'm reading the lyrics with this stuff too on Genius. One thing I want to say is that the very first time I ever had, like, since I was a kid, I've been obsessed with collecting music, and I would buy a CD, and I was so broke that I was like, okay, what happens? Because first off, I had things taken from. I was bullied relentlessly as a kid, so I had things taken from me early on. Like, people stole my CD player, my CDs, my little Walkman or my Discman or whatever it was I had. So I learned very quickly to get the original, dub it, keep a tape of it, and that's what I listened to. When CDs got cheap and easier, I would just make a blank and burn it, write it on there, and have a binder full of like the burned copies, and all my other copies would be at home. Now, did I have extra albums that I didn't own? Sure, of course I did, but I tried to buy as much as I could. My point is that this is going to be a long video. And Out Come the Wolves and Let's Go were the only two albums that I had, or not the only two, excuse me, the first two that I had like dubbed on a cassette tape, like 90 minute tapes. So first off, the last song on this album and the last song on Let's Go, I think I didn't have because it didn't fit. But I got to know the order of the songs to a degree as if I was listening to it on vinyl. Like, I never got to skip a track really, right? So now when I hear a song off of this album, or Let's Go even, in my head, it'll be like, it'll end and then it'll pick up with the next song. So if it's on a mixtape or a playlist, it throws me off. It does that with Operation Ivy stuff too. Anyways, that song is great. Okay, so here are my notes on Maxwell Murder. This is one of the more famous intros to a punk album from the 90s and a beloved song. I saw on Reddit that it's all about a crack dealer named Maxwell who killed another dealer for his stash. Not sure how true it is, but it matches up with the lyrics pretty well. I'll be honest, I've never been a huge fan of this song. I mean, it's objectively great, but I like more of the melodic side of Rancid. Obviously, you guys know how I feel about Rancid 5. However, I've seen Rancid live quite a few times, like I was saying earlier. This is one of the best live songs ever. Matt Freeman absolutely smashes a ridiculous solo on this track. On the album, and it even goes crazier live. It's almost never exactly the same live. But you can hear like the notes that make you go, oh, Maxwell Murder solo, right? But sometimes he'll go off for a little longer. Sometimes he'll change it, but dude, it's effortless. It's just, but that's the reason that people remember the song. I think, the solo, right? But I mean, for a kickoff point to an album like this, dude, it's A+, man. And like I said, when I was at that show back in 1996, I heard him play this. I saw them play this, whatever you want to say, and it completely, blew my mind. Dude, blew my hair back. Quite literally, I was just like, what is going on? So, yeah, Maxwell Murder is a fantastic song. Next song up on the album is called The 11th Hour. Let's get into it.
All right.
Dude, you know what's crazy? That song is like rarely even brought up in conversation. I don't ever hear anybody talk about The 11th Hour. On any other band's, any other album, that would be like a top track. The guitar riff on that is so good. And then I haven't listened to it. Well, that's not true. I listen to this record all the time. But I haven't like sat down and done this while talking about it. And it's like, man, I was hearing like little percussion stuff that I don't think of much. And there's also the bass line in this is really good. I will say, turning the bass up on a Rancid record is also going to be a huge benefit to you when listening to any of their albums, really, because you get to hear that he's not just playing along with the rhythm guitar. Like, he's just like, if the rhythm guitar, he's, I mean, it's like all over the fucking place. Excuse me, all over the place. On that fretboard, it's awesome, man. The 11th Hour. stands for the last possible moment something can be done, as far as I understand it anyways. Seems like the song is about someone repeatedly being let down, used, or abused, and the urgency at which that person needs to make a change. Not sure if I understood the lyrics really well, but I have always liked the song, and I think the hook is powerful all on its own. And I said, do you know where the power lies? And who pulls the strings? Do you know where the power lies? It starts and ends with you. That's so accurate, man. I think when reading it, listening to it right now, I'm thinking that this had something to do with like addiction. First off, dude, these lyrics, man. My jungle's made of concrete, and through the silence I could feel that my aim is true, and I will walk on through these mountains made of steel. Dude, look, man. I smile listening to this stuff, bro. It's so pretty. I understand, like, why they would be self-conscious enough to make an album like Rancid 5 after writing something like this, because, like, ignorant, like, too punk for punk rocker guys are gonna call these dudes all kinds of stupid shit because they're uneducated, they're not poetic. You know, it's wild, dude. Okay, so where was the thing? Okay. Yeah, the face of isolation, well, that's one you recognize. When you can't get straight, it's a lonely place, and it's one you do despise. To me, that talking about withdrawals, detox, whatever you want to call it, coming down off dope. That's what it sounds like to me. They talk a lot about that. I think Tim's been through a lot of that. Lars has probably been through a fair amount of it, and I think a lot of their friends have been through a lot of it. When I was talking to Jesse Michaels, I came to a realization very quick that he has been through a lot of that stuff. So I mean, this isn't, you know, I'm not unique that I was an addict for a long time. I mean, it was actually, it's not unique at all. It's very common within punk rock to have that be a thing that you deal with and go through. So I should take those headphones off in between songs, I think. All right, we're gonna go on to Roots Radicals. All right, this one here. Bro, this is a jammy jam, dude. Roots Radical? Come on, man. I think the other song is Roots Radicals, but Roots Radical, man, come on, dude. This song is so good, bro. This is one that I think you could play it at any place, like any kind of like punk rock place, and people are gonna trip out and just start singing along and dancing. Probably, it's so good. All right, let's get to it.
The radio was playing, Desmond Decker was singing on a 43 bus as we climb up the hill.
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. Dude, the guitar licks on that, like the little like Chuck Berry-esque leads, like Lars's vocals. It was like which part was it when he says I think he's doing a chorus. Dude, just the way bleeds in me and it goes. He sings so good, bro. His vocals are like some of my favorite of all time. But okay. I mean, I don't even know where to start with this song, dude. It brought us Give 'Em the Boot. You know, it literally is the name of like one of the greatest comps of all time. Moon Stompers, never heard that term before until Roots Radicals. Me personally, okay? Didn't know about this dude Ben Zanato. There's like all kinds of lore about that guy out there. And then I never heard of who Desmond Decker was until I started listening to Rancid. So like, I mean, dude. So here are my notes for Roots Radicals. I put, now this one is a banger. A literal punk rock classic. An incredibly important song for many reasons. It was the first song off of Out Come the Wolves. So it was under a lot of pressure to perform, and it did just fine, I would say. Here's my thing about Roots Radical, man. It's like, underneath, like, punk rock, this is, like, probably like a top 10 song all time, top 20 maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like in, I don't know, this is a top song all time. Outside of punk rock, I think music fans can listen to this and go, objectively very well made. Great song, fantastic song, amazing song. So there's a lot that this brings to the table. Also, during the chorus, there's that super bouncy bass line. It's like really just bouncy and it's like thick. I don't know, it really pops out. The song is a tribute to roots reggae, a subgenre of reggae music known for political radicalism. Specifically, the band is acknowledging that the roots, the reggae on my stereo, to which the band listened to during their teenage years, influenced their later work. The title lyric and the line, "You know I'm a radical," refer to the Jimmy Cliff song Roots Radicals, which features the chorus, "I'm a radical, I'm a roots radical." One of the repeated verses references Desmond Decker, one of the most successful roots musicians. Yeah, I didn't even think about Jimmy Cliff, dude. Like, all these artists that I wouldn't know about without Rancid, or at least I wouldn't have heard of until much later. The song also draws inspiration from Bunny Wailer's Roots, Radix, Rockers, and Reggae, and Stiff Little Fingers' version of that song, Roots, Radicals, Rockers, and Reggae. The 60 bus, which is mentioned in the beginning of the song, refers to a transit route that runs north from downtown Campbell, California, along Winchester Boulevard to Santa Clara. The 43 bus referenced in the song is the defunct AC Transit 43 line, which ran from El Cerrito Plaza all through Albany, Berkeley, and Oakland to the Eastmont section of Oakland. All of my late teens and 20s and early 30s were spent without a car. I rode the bus in Houston a lot. These songs hit different for me because of, I don't know, lyrics I can relate to. I put on here that this song connects me to people that I admire so much through talking about buses and such. And I very much still feel that way. The line, "All the punk rockers and the moonstompers," references the Cimarip track Skinhead Moonstomp and alludes, I don't know what I even... Also, the single for Roots Radicals created one of the best B-sides in punk rock history with "I Wanna Riot," that was featured on, I think it was Beavis and Butthead Do America. I think that one had like the Stubborn All-Stars with it. And then the one that was on the single was just like Rancid playing it. But "I Wanna Riot" is another early like ska track that I really liked that drew me in and got me on board with punk rock. Speaking of ska tracks that kind of shaped the way that I feel and think about music now, we're going to go ahead and listen to Time Bomb, and I'll talk about it after the song. This is a pretty important one for me. So, I like the length of these songs too. They're all fairly, Olympia is 3.5 minutes long, but I mean, they're like, 2.5 to 3 minute songs typically. Dude, this is going to be a long-ass video, but I'm telling you, I'm enjoying it. All right, without further ado, Time Bomb.
Black coat, white shoes, red hat, Cadillac, yeah. The boys are time bomb.
Okay. Man. Okay. This is the first Rancid song that I ever heard. Okay, so like back in, I think it was 1995. I think it was about the time this came out. Now, I've told people many times on this channel that the radio down here in Houston does not play punk rock. Like, they don't play... I mean, if it's The Offspring, Green Day, and that stuff's barely punk rock, right? It's punk, but it's not like... They don't play Rancid, they don't play Bad Religion, they don't play NoFX, they don't play any, like, deep-cut Epitaph stuff, right? One time, I heard a Rancid song, and I was laying on the floor listening to a Sony boombox, and I had the radio on. At the time, it was 107.5 The Buzz. Now it's 94.5. Coincidentally, my brother's a DJ there now. Terrible music taste. Jeremy, come on, man. But I'm laying on the floor on my stomach like this, and I got my feet just kind of kicked back behind me, and I'm listening to the music, and then I hear this song come on. I had to listen to the radio for like 15 more minutes for them to tell me what the song was. But that ultimately is what got me interested in Rancid, which when my brother told me, "Hey, come to Dallas for this show, Lollapalooza, Metallica's playing," I went, "Oh, okay, I'll talk to Mom." And then he showed me the flyer thing, and it had Rancid on there, and I went, "Wait a minute, I think I like this band. I don't know them very well, but like," so when I went there, I barely knew who they were. I just knew I liked this song, and I saw a picture of them, and I was like, they got mohawks. This is awesome. So... yeah, man, it's the second single off the album. It reached number 8 on Billboard Modern Rock Tracks, marking the highest initial charting single in their career at the time. The lyrics for the first verse of the song were sampled from an earlier song called Motorcycle Ride, which appeared on the band's previous album, Let's Go. I don't know if anybody knew that or not. When I first heard this, I thought it sounded really familiar. That's incorrect. Not when I first heard it. At some point when I was hearing this, I was like, what? And I think it was, I guess, about the time I listened to Let's Go. I always thought it was funny that they took song lyrics from their own song and put it in another record. Anyways, whatever. I messed that up very clearly, right? The song's about Eric Hogan, a good friend of the band, particularly Tim Armstrong, who used to own American Graffiti Tattoo. He was murdered by Hell's Angels, supposedly, for sleeping with one of their members' wives. So, yeah, man, Time Bomb is an incredibly important song because it started this whole thing for me. If I had never heard Time Bomb that day on the radio, I probably wouldn't be sitting here right now. So, fantastic little butterfly effect thing right there, right? So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the first side of the record, and then I'm going to go to bed, wake up, and do the second side of the record, because this is going to be a very long video, and I want to be fresh. I don't want to be tired. I want to be amped up and excited, and I'm having a great time. So we're only halfway through the first half. So Olympia, Washington is the next song on the album. 3 minutes and 31 seconds.
Hanging on the corner, 152nd and Broadway. The cars passing by, but none of them seem to go my way.
This is one of the songs that makes me wish I had gotten into the Clash earlier, because I can hear the Clash so evidently in this whole album, honestly. But that song is, man, the guitar riff in that song is so good and so memorable. And I can't believe that that's not even one of their, like, you know, oh, that's kind of, I mean, Hanging Out with Lars down on 6th Street, that's a really catchy line, and it's sang by everybody when they play it live. But I don't know, man. This album is so good, dude. Like, I can't get over it, man. I don't know what it was like writing something like this, but I can only imagine that was as good as anything I've ever done, as far as, you know, drugs and shit, right? Like, that feeling. Like, what are we doing, dude? Like the arrangement of the songs on this album is so perfect. I think about that pretty frequently when I'm listening to it, that it just kind of flows, right? And they did, like, melodic stuff with punk that shouldn't be punk, but it is, right? Like, it's prettier, right? These dudes are poets, man. That's what I like about it. Like, I mean, he wrote an album called A Poet's Life, like, obviously, right? But Olympia, Washington is a fantastic sing-along song with the infectious lines, hanging out with Lars down on 6th Street and hanging on the corner of 52nd and Broadway. A song about being homesick and seeing normal people, right? Going to their homes after work while you're just a traveler and an entertainer, I think, right? Kind of like the other side of being in a touring punk band a lot of people don't see. The song was covered by NoFX and the split they did with Rancid. Some people say they like that version better, but nothing beats a Rancid song played by Rancid, in my opinion. Nothing. The song's incredible, and I've picked it out to listen to so many times. It never gets old. Isolate the guitar riff on this one. It's so good. See what I'm saying? I actually think that this one might be not only about the lonely life of touring, but also, I don't know. It probably is about, I think it's about loneliness, homesick, wanting to go home. But I don't know, man. I don't interpret things very well. I could be wrong about a lot of this. But the next song is called Lockstep and Gone. This is one of the ones when I was young that I used to really gravitate towards. So let's check it out together. Hope you're having a good time. I'm having a blast. Good grief, dude. Good grief. This is so ridiculous, man. What a tough song, man. The guitar tone and the chords they played in this are so, give them enough rope. That album is so suddenly important to me that it bothers me. I feel like a giant douche. Like, oh man, I think I want to do this with that record too and be like, another album that changed my life because it opened up so many doors for me, like just musically. Like it not the same as this one opened up, this one changed my life in a way, like it set me on the path of what I think is something great, right? That one just unlocked some doors and said, here, check this out. Did you ever notice it from this perspective? And it's like, no, it is what it is, right? Lockstep and gone. Tim Armstrong grew up in a very rough part of California, the type of place that in every dark alley, there's a dealer or a group of punked up teenagers who will kick your ass for no reason. I lock my door, step out, and I'm gone. Don't bother with waiting for the buses because the buses won't come. It says a lot. I like this song so much. I lived in that same type of area in Houston for most of my life. It's just a tough song. Great vocal performance, great guitar leads. Also, if you listen to it, towards the end of the song, you can hear like this dun 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 dun. I don't know that I've ever heard that before. It's a part that I think Tim's playing over the rhythm guitar. Beautiful, man. 30 years into this record, and I can still hear something that I've never heard before. Love it, dude. Okay, next song up, Junkie Man. I'm gonna be honest. Out of all this entire record, this is the one song that I didn't say I'd like actively didn't like it, but it's the only one that I would ever like skip. And I remember, now that I'm thinking about it, at one point I made another tape and I put The Way I Feel on it and I skipped Junkie Man. So it went 1 through 6 and then it went 8 through 19. In hindsight, whatever, I don't care. I'm not mad about it. I don't feel any kind of way about it, other than like at this point in my life, I've read the lyrics enough and gone through the song enough to where I think I understand the song better. I think my issue with it was I didn't understand the song. And if you don't understand something, how are you going to enjoy it, right? At least in my opinion, that's kind of the way things go. But let's listen to it together now and see how I feel about it right now. I once was a junkie man. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I'll rewind it. Now I remember one of the things I didn't like about it back in the day. I didn't care for that guitar riff when I was younger. I like it way better now, but when I was young, I didn't care for it. I don't know what it is. I think it's like a they're so melodic and pretty with their music writing that this one just struck me as something that I didn't think fit that mold. You know, I was a kid.
The common man doesn't suffer pain like this. Only the sword that has never been kissed. Let us adore.
So, how funny is it that when I was a kid, the song that I didn't like the most probably has the most in common with the man I turned out to be as an adult. Junkie Man, tell me what your story is. I'm a junkie man, and I tell you guys my story every week, man. So, I think no one answers, no one takes that call from you. It's so depressing. And I've been in jail and tried to get a hold of somebody, couldn't. And like right now I'm dealing with some stuff with my mom, and like I understand the feeling of like desperation, loneliness, and like the deep desire to have somebody give a shit. You know what I'm saying? It's interesting. Also the spoken word thing is Jim Carroll, who did the Basketball Diaries, and ultimately where this whole album's concept name and everything comes from. Not the concept maybe, but the name. Yeah, man, it's interesting, dude. Like, I find it funny. And I also think that when I was younger, I didn't understand the lyrics at all. And some of it I didn't understand, like, actually. Like, I didn't understand what he was saying. But, like, the more I listen to this and read the lyrics with it and just kind of just soak it in, I'm like, damn. Again, 30 years in, and this is like one of my favorite songs now, which I think is incredibly ironic. I probably didn't like this song up until 2 years ago. Maybe a little longer than that. I didn't dislike it actively or anything. I just was like, if I was ranking the songs, this would be somewhere down the bottom. I don't know, man. It'd be much higher now. But the common man doesn't suffer pain like this, only the sort that has never been kissed. That is fucked, dude. Like, oh, burning up, shooting up, and bring on the brightness. See the Son of God is coming up, and I see a likeness. Eternalize the lunacy, the misery is showing. When you're brought up, you're caught up in a system that is going. Like, dude, I can't get over this guy's lyrics, man. It fucking blows my mind, dude. And I remember sitting in this, like, I don't know what to call it, man. It wasn't like a crack house, but it was almost. It was a quadplex. You know what a quadplex is? A duplex stacked on top of a duplex. Where I was in the bottom right hand side, and it was one bedroom, a tiny shitty kitchen, and a little bitty ass living room, and it was just run down in Third Ward, Houston. And I remember being in the bathroom one night, and I'm like getting dope sick, and at this point I was doing a lot of heroin, and I was looking in the mirror, and I was like, I just want to feel better. And I was like, if you go through this for a couple of days, though, like, you can get to where you don't have to feel like this anymore. And I got to this weird point where I was like okay with it, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna go sit this out. I'm gonna go like dry out. And it's this weird thing that drug addicts do, where I was convincing myself like I'm gonna do better. I don't want to have nothing in my system anymore. I need to clean out. It's going to be a couple weeks, but I'll be fine. I'll call work tomorrow. Blah 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 blah. All right. I'm sitting on the floor in front of my couch. TV's on. Nothing's even playing. It's just like a movie was over with or something. And I was just rocking back and forth. I was sweating real bad. I stank, and I was like kind of throwing up a little bit. I felt horrible, man. I kept running to the bathroom. Just gnarly withdrawals, right? But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go through this. I don't want to do this no more. And then probably like 10 minutes into this, and it felt like hours, right? 10 minutes or so goes by. Might have been longer than that, but it probably wasn't. Little on my window. Hey, early bird, you in there? Early bird. Okay, they called me early bird because I was the only guy that got up and went to work. All right, like that's what it is. What it is. And I like peek to the thing, and it's this dude Peck. I'm like, Peck, what's up, bro? And he's like, hey man, I got what I owe you. And he owed me $40. Now he didn't really have $40, okay, but he had like, I don't know, $25, $30 worth of crack. And I was a heroin addict, but I was like, I don't want fucking crack. And then I remembered that you can intravenously use that, and so I did, and it just spun me in a different direction. And yeah, man. I remember I got arrested when I lived in that house. I don't remember what for. Oh. Yeah, I do. Okay, so check this out. So I worked at a pool hall called Cat Daddy's. It was they had 9-foot tables, and I played a lot of 9-ball. I gambled a lot, and ultimately I got like super strung out and like fell out in the back like cooler area, and they found me with like still a towel on my arm, like not a towel but like a bandana like cranked around my arm, and just like my rig just on the floor, like spurt of blood next to me, like real piece of shit moment. And so they were like, hey, look, we're gonna fire you, or you can just quit on your own and not have this. And I was like, I'll quit. So they're like, hey, you're still welcome to drink here though. Bro. So I go down into Houston off of Westheimer, and I think like close to Chimney Rock is where I was at. There was a place called Slick Willie's, like a fancier pool hall, still a shithole, but like it was like a chain of them. And I go in, I talk to this dude named Mike, and he's like, hey, I need a day manager like right now. And I was like, yeah, I can be your day manager. I'm wearing like a long sleeve button down shirt. It's like August in Houston. He didn't even think about why I would be wearing that, right? I got, my arms are blown out. And so he's like, yeah, man, blah, blah, blah. So I get the job, and to celebrate, I stay. And he's like, hey, man, have the table on the night. I'll give you a couple of rounds. He's like, I had some buddies or whatever. So I run into this dude. I'm not going to say his name. You know who you are, motherfucker. Yeah, I know you're watching this shit. I haven't seen him in forever, dude. And he walks in, and we're like, oh, shit, what's up, bro? And we start hanging out, we're drinking, and we're playing pool. We got this girl with us, dude, and we're in the bathroom blowing through blinds, and he's like a clean-cut, pretty boy type looking dude. Good-looking guy, man. This girl's all pretty. I'm all tattooed up. We get in his truck, and we leave. We're driving, and this cop's behind us. We're not thinking nothing of it, man. Like, we're not doing anything. We're just leaving, right? And so there's a cop behind us, and I guess they saw us pull out of this bar, so they naturally want to watch if we're drunk, and they're pulling up behind us, and they ran his plates. Well, his truck comes up as a Honda, like Honda Accord, like his pickup truck, Chevy pickup truck. And so they pull us over, and the cop's like, hey, man, your truck comes up as a Honda Accord when I run your plates. He was like, what are you talking about? And so the cop goes up to the front of the truck and looks. And I don't know about where you're at, but in Texas, you have to have front plates. He looks at the front plate. It's a different plate. He goes, hey, man, I think your car was messed with. You got a different plate on the back than you do the front. You know about that? And my buddy's like, what? No. And then the cop, like, looks at him, looks at this, like, super hot girl, and then he flashes his light on me, and he goes, hey, you, how about the car real quick? And had I known then what I know now, I would have said no. I'd have been like, no, I didn't do anything. What are you trying to pull me out of the car? But to be fair, I was all gacked out and pretty drunk, so I was like, And so I hop out of the car, and he runs my ID, and he finds a little bag of coke on me, and I got some warrants, and so he takes me to jail. And I had to call, I think I called my mom and said, hey, can you go talk to Mike at the bar and see if he'll let me keep my job? And she said, all right, call me back in an hour or whatever. And then I get to talk to her, and she's like, he says if you can get out today and get to work, that he'll let you keep your job. And I was like, okay. So I got bonded, I guess bonded, bailed, whatever you call it, bailed out. And all I could think about the whole time was like, man, at my house I got this crack rock. What? And I got home on no sleep, dude. I looked like hammered horse shit. I got home, I just, got my supplies ready, and I did a shot, and I go to work, and I walk in, and he's like, whoa, you look like shit. And I was like, yeah, he's like, welcome to Slick Willie's. And he just hands me the fucking keys to the place. And he goes, you got to be here at 10 in the morning. You leave at 5. You can leave at 4 if the girls get here on time. And I was like, okay. And he's like, I'll pay you this much an hour. You get to keep the tips. And then if you can hustle up some money on the tables, that's yours too. And I was like, all right, cool, man. And I worked there for a long while, dude. But yeah, man. I don't even know how I started talking about that. Fucking crazy, dude. So the notes on this song for me, it's funny how this stuff works. For 30 years, this has been the only song I ever skipped on this album. I had some of the lyrics wrong, and when doing the research for this video, I went over the song with the lyrics and was shocked. It went from a song that I didn't really actively dislike, but was maybe a song I needed to rediscover later in life to be able to still have something to discover in my favorite album at age 43. It went from a song that I didn't really actively dislike, but maybe it was a song that I needed to rediscover later in life to be able to still have something to discover within my favorite album at age 43. Maybe it was because I was a junkie for a decade and it just makes me feel like a piece of shit. Also, I still don't really understand the spoken word part. I can't believe Tim's vocals still have me shaking my head like this after all these years. Because, I don't know, man. You can listen to a song 1,000 times and then read the lyrics and go, what? And it changes the entire, structure of the song. Oh, and Pedro the dog's here. All right, let me close my door and we'll get to the next song. I got 3 more for the night. That's my pal right there. Dude, listed MIA, man. It's coming up next, bro. Ooh, this song is good. All right, y'all ready?
Check it out. I'm listed MIA. Goddamn it, man. I almost had it.
Oh, man. Oh, dude. The guitar riff on that song is amazing, man. Second verse with the hand claps, the little guitar lead, so freaking good, dude. I used to drive my very first car around Houston screaming these songs, dude. I feel like this one is about not fitting in and wanting to leave your home. Also about being thrown out of places and called horrible things by shitty people. I've experienced many of those things. I also remember liking this one. Liking that this one had loud, blatant curse words in it at the very beginning. I needed rebellious music, and this song fit that mold to me. Still does. The third verse where Lars comes in singing with the hand claps, and then it switches to the guitar part going, it's like a shot of it's like a shot of adrenaline in the chest. Straight to the chest, dude. Bah! It makes me, move around whether I wanted to or not, dude. That song is freaking awesome, dude. Listen to MIA. Like I said, man, the blatant cursing at the very beginning was a thing that it was important to me as a very much a rebellion, because my mom is incredibly religious, and I love my mom, but I do not get along with her very well, and I just remember being like, yeah, that's right. He says it in there. And like, I don't know, man. Life is tough, dude, but this music is life altering in a good way, man. I just, these are the good guys, man. I think that nobody's perfect. Tim's not perfect. Lars ain't perfect. Matt ain't perfect. Brandon and Brett aren't perfect people. But like, when you can take all these experiences and you can construct rebellious poetry that'll help a 15, 16-year-old kid, you know, not self-harm or get them out of some trouble or just help them through a breakup or loss of a job or loss of a friend or listen to these stories. How can you not love this record? If you like punk rock music or if you are a punk rocker, how can you not love this? I don't get it. I can understand it not being your favorite. I don't see how you could listen to this and not love it, man. Specifically the next song, Ruby Soho. Come on, bro. What? Two more on this part of the video. Come on, dude. What are we talking about here? Yeah, Ruby Soho. I think this was a single as well, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go. Bro, what a beautiful song. Like, it's... Okay, so, like, the part in the song where he's talking about how she doesn't get the, like, what he needs out of music. One thing I love about this song is that I have, like, the opposite thing going on. My wife, bro, shout out to my wife. Ain't nobody perfect. Certainly not me. Neither is she. Close. Beautiful. Gave me kids. Works hard. Intelligent. Most importantly, she backs what I'm doing, man. She supports me. She doesn't understand this the way that y'all will. Not necessarily. Maybe by now she does. But like, when we first got together, man, she didn't understand any of this shit. She was like, You like to do what? I'm like, yeah. I showed her some videos and stuff, and like, she's got a picture of me and Tim Armstrong, like way back before me and her even met, sitting on her shelf. I'll bring it in on side two. She's sleeping right now. I don't want to go bother her, but like, because it's 1:21 a.m. right now. But yeah, dude, Ruby Soho. I've heard this song's about Matt and an ex-girlfriend of his, someone that became an ex due to his touring schedule. I don't know if it's about Matt, but it's definitely about a musician and a partner having to deal with separation due to a calling. Hard shit to go through. One of the greatest punk rock songs of all time. One of the catchiest hooks ever. The entire crowd sings this one at every single show. These dudes know how to tell a story. Ruby Soho, bro. Even like a wrestler girl's named this, and they like it's her walking. This song has affected people, bro. This album, I love it so much, man. I'm gonna do this kind of thing for, I think it's Last Word Spoken. One of the Women Army albums was done in, I think, 2000. I think it's Last Word Spoken, but I'm gonna do a thing like this where I break down every song, listen to it, and this will be Patreon exclusive stuff with all the music. So, can you hear my dog over here scratching like a crazy person? All right, we're gonna listen to one more song before I go to take a break and come back with the second half of the album. Daly City Train. I personally love this song. This is way higher ranked for me than it is a lot of people. So let's just listen to it together, and then tomorrow we will pick back up with my all-time favorite. Let's go. I love that part. Rarely do I ever have a song where like there's a cover of it that I like almost as much, but there's a cover of this by Mike and his Uke. I heard it a little while back, and then somebody reintroduced it to me. Like, I'd heard it a while back, I liked it, forgot about it. Somebody on the stream, I think it might have been Rusty, requested it, and I forgot how great that like cover was. Boy, man, I tell you what, spend all this time on Earth. When you look back, it's just a flicker of time. I'm 43 right now, and I think about that almost every day. This song is one that when I die and my celebration's happening, that I want, if anybody shows up to that, like I want, even if it's just two people, man, my best friends, this song needs to be played. It just feels like the closing of a chapter. It's a great song to close side A to, I think. You know what I'm saying? Daly City Train, excuse me. How someone as young as Tim Armstrong was at the time of this can write lyrics like this is amazing to me. It's a beautiful song and a tragic story both at the same time. One of the most underrated songs in their catalog, in my opinion. This album is just so good. To go from ska chorus to that Clash-esque group vocal chorus is just so perfect. I understand some people want anger and fast music for their punk rock, but I can't help but love this melody and storytelling all throughout this album. It's perfection. As beloved as Rancid is, I still feel like they're a bit underrated within just like rock and roll. I think they should be more widely recognized within music in general. The song is one of the catchiest bridges that I didn't understand a word for like 20 years. Oh man, I had too many friends that were like the subject of this song. I almost became that subject, honestly. I've shot dope in some insane places. I'm lucky to be here talking about this album. You spend all of these years on this earth, but when you look back, it's just a flicker of time. I think about this so often. Time is weird, man. Enjoy it while you can. You know what I'm saying? The craziest place I ever shot up was driving a car on a freeway going like 60, 70 miles an hour, and like by myself, rigging up, banging one out, and just being like redlining and being like, whoa. I don't know how I'm still here. Like, shout out to sobriety, man. All right, I'll be back with part 2 of this. It might just be one continuous video. It might be broken into 2 pieces. It actually, I will probably break this into 2. Upload part side A, upload side B, and then upload a third with both, so people that want to just watch it all can. But I'm having a fun time doing this. I wish it wasn't so late. I should have started this earlier, but I don't get to work until late at night because of, family obligations and things. So, yeah, I'll be back with side B in just a minute, on your end of things. All right, thanks.